Hi everyone, this is Michael Brook from Rapid Couples Counseling. This video is called 5 Myths About Sex in Long-Term Relationship That Aren't True. First myth about sex in long-term relationships that I want to address is that desire will always be present. Now, at the beginning of the relationship, desire is actually very easy. You've got all this cocktail of potent chemicals floating around inside your brain. You want to tear your partner's clothes off at any and every occasion that you possibly can. Now, the problem is, in the first 12 months of people's relationship, 12 to 18 months in the honeymoon phase, is that the particular biological process, you've got changes hormonally, neurologically, going on inside your body that makes you addicted to your partner. But that only lasts about 12 to 18 months. And over a period of time, desire for sex in a relationship drops simply because of what's going on for you biochemically. But a lot of people are surprised by that, and they think that because they're not having the same desire as they did at the beginning, there's actually something going wrong. When it's actually they just don't understand that that myth that desire will always be present is not actually true. You know, as I've said in another video, desire is not a natural function. And if you want to check out that video, you can check out that other video. Now, myth number 2 in long-term relationships is that the type of sex you're having at the beginning is what's going to be happening forever. Now, the problem is that's not true. At the beginning of the relationship, there tends to be a broad range of behavior and broad range of meaning in the sex you're having in long-term relationships. But over a period of time, that shrinks down to a very, very limited range of behavior and a very limited range of meaning. This process appears to be very common. But also what that ends up meaning is that a lot of people end up having sex that they don't actually really enjoy, or that they enjoy it just enough. It's pragmatic, it gets the job done. But a lot of people think that if that goes on, that there's something going wrong. Well, it's actually just the normal process of people getting used to each other and end up doing what I call efficiency sex. So it's really important to recognize that the myth of sex is always going to have this broad range of behavior and broad range of meaning, it's always going to be exciting. Well, that's not actually true. Myth number 3 is that sex should be spontaneous, and that if it's not spontaneous, it doesn't represent genuine desire. Well, that's not actually true either, because at the beginning of a relationship, even in the first 12 months, people still schedule sex. So when you're dating someone, what tends to happen is like, are you busy on a Friday night? No, I'm not busy on Friday. Great, let's get together on Friday. And when making that agreement of let's get together on Friday, that means we're going to get together and have sex, right? And so you do actually schedule sex at the beginning of a relationship, but you don't actively say, hey, we're going to be doing this. But there's just an implicit agreement that that's going to be happening. So people schedule sex at the beginning of the relationship, and somehow 5 years later, if they do organize that or do set that up, somehow that's really, really unsexy and really unromantic. That's not actually true. Yeah, people schedule sex all the time, and so sex doesn't have to be spontaneous. If it does, that's good, but it doesn't actually always occur. So that's myth number 3. Myth number 4 says that women should always experience high levels of desire for sex. Now, it's a scientifically studied phenomenon that over a period of time in long-term relationships, women's desire for sex tends to decrease. Yeah, not so much for men, because men have a lot of testosterone, and the desire for sex for men tends to be a bit more constant in long-term relationships, but not always. And that over a period of time, women's desire for sex tends to decrease. And there's a couple of really good reasons why, like children, In a long-term relationship, when you have children, a lot of women's time and care and attention and love goes into the kids, and their time and care and attention they have for their partner, their sexual relationship, tends to decrease as well. And so that tends to be quite a common phenomenon. And the final myth that I want to address is that if there's a difference in desire for sex between a couple, there's something going wrong. And that's not actually true either. Because I can tell you from working with lots and lots of couples, and the statistics say the same thing, is that if roughly 70% of relationships have some difference in level of desire. So the way it normally works is you've got 30% of couples have desire for a relationship that's either both high and both low. Roughly 15% of couples, the female has a higher desire for sex, and roughly 55% of couples, the men have the higher desire for sex than the women. And so it tends to be the case that approximately 70% of relationships, there is a differential between desire for sex. Now, just because you've got a difference in your desire for sex, that doesn't mean that there's anything going wrong. And that can be worked on and can be successfully addressed by various different means. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. There's a link for my booking page in the description box. If you are having challenges with your sexual relationships, it might be an idea for you to book in for a session. There's a link for my book, Thriving in Flux, 9 Timers, Principles for Relationship Happiness and Success. Thank you very much for taking time to watch this video. I look forward to making more quality content for you shortly. Thank you very much. Bye.